What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is British pet culture ain't got nothing on America.
Interesting.
Obviously Lawrence has got a cat.
Yeah, he's got a dog now.
He's got a dog as well. I don't know when this video came out, but he does have a dog. Alfie, I want to say. Arthur. I knew it was an A. Super close. I apologise, Lawrence. What's a cat called? Oh,
it's not Gustav, that's Mr. H and Friends, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
No idea.
Oh, we've let you down. We do apologise. Smash that button anyway, guys. Smash the subscribe button. We may be able to meet lots of a pond. I doubt we will because we're probably going to go to Texas. But we're going to be going to America in 2024. If you want to help speed it up or help along, because we're going to be doing a lot of things. We'll be recording a lot of things. The link is in the description. But we will be vlogging and we will be recording. So if we go in April or if we go in August, either time, expect a lot of American trip videos after that. And the link to that is in the description. Are you ready?
I am ready.
British pet culture ain't got nothing on America. Let's go.
In times like this, it's time to restore the initial reasons for which the internet was created. Cats. And although ironically this one has absolutely no idea what the internet is, you're clueless, aren't you? What's a JPEG? What's a shift key? Yeah? What's a content management system? What is Instagram? Who are all these people? Yeah, you're not very smart. It's true. What? You've been self-isolating your whole life? Yeah, well, you've also been running off with all of the toilet roll, so you're part of the problem, aren't you?
COVID times.
Oh, I suppose COVID times, isn't it?
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to
controversial question, though. Spam Lawrence this in his comment section. Does he prefer his dog or his cat? That's very.
That's like asking him which child you prefer.
Yeah, that's very controversial.
You've only got one child.
Yeah, but if he's silly enough to answer it, he'll answer it. If not, he'll just go, I love them both.
Who's your favourite person out of me and Archie?
I love you both. With my whole heart.
All of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to something that's very dear to my heart, and I dare say the hearts of other people watching just looking at these stats, and that's pets. The animals, the little fur balls that a lot of us live with, and in my wife's case that's both a cat and me, fur balls being an affectionate term for a cat in this case. But having lived in America now for all of this time, something has become abundantly clear, and that is that America absolutely kicks Britain's arse when it comes to pet culture. Actually, I had experience of this firsthand when I first moved to the United States, because Tara's family had, 9 dogs, and one of those, a chocolate Labrador, marauded me as soon as I walked in the door. Wow. Welcome to America, she said, in her own variety of English that wasn't English. And you just get a general sense here, no matter where you live, that people just take their dogs for a walk more often. Not right now, we're on lockdown, but in normal springtime weather, that is the case. I say springtime weather, it is about to turn spring officially, and, I had this video lined up for a long time, thinking that, it would sort of mirror everybody's outdoor activities, and here we are, quarantined like the day we were born. I was born in a lab. But I figured since a lot of us are quarantined right now that this might actually have some deeper resonance that I wasn't even anticipating, and that you'll look at the screen and go, oh, and that's just at my face. And what I was saying a moment ago is absolutely true. The stats bear me out on this. And before you stop me and say, oh, well, it's because America has bigger houses, therefore it can have more pets per houses. Well, no, just households alone, 67% of households have at least one pet, right? Oh, wow. Compared to the United Kingdom, where it's 45%. So that's a big jump.
That is quite a big jump. And I wonder, you're probably going to say it if not, but I wonder, do they have bigger animals? I doubt it.
No, I think, a dog is kind of the biggest.
You might get bigger breeds, though. We might on average get bigger breeds. I don't know.
I think they got like a moose in the back garden. I think maybe.
Yeah, but pet moose.
I don't have pet mooses.
Yeah, me and my neighbour's moose there. They were getting it on last night.
You and your neighbour's moose?
Well, I was just, yeah.
You meant your moose and the neighbour's moose, not
yeah, but I mean, not me and the moose. Oh my god. No, wait, cut that. No, but because cars are bigger, houses are bigger.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, there's the American Bulldog, I guess.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be bigger.
I don't think so.
I highly doubt it.
I feel like a Jack Russell is the same.
It's probably one of the only things which isn't bigger.
Yeah, true. Animals.
Yeah.
Like pet animals.
Or do you just go, and they're bigger?
Probably.
It sort of mirrors my own experience, I think, of living in the United States and living with animals. And so I thought it would be fun to drill down a little bit deeper and just look at it by animal type and see where America is kicking Britain's arse. Okay. Now, our first entry might literally be lost in the pond, and it's also an exception that proves the rule.
Fish.
Yes, fish. You know, I think in my entire life I've never actually lived with fish, and if I did, I've forgotten it, and they forgot it after 3 seconds.
I don't think I have either.
But apparently a lot of people in the United Kingdom do, if the statistics are anything to go by. Now, bear in mind, in the United Kingdom there are 67 million people, and that equates apparently to 27.6 million households.
Okay.
And I can report that there are almost twice as many fish as that. In fact, there is one fish for every 0.6
people have a lot of
households.
fish.
That sounds crazy, but when you think about it, a lot of tanks have
Yeah.
about 27,000 fish in them.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know about
Spend
many.
a lot of money for that.
Maybe like
So
5.
over-exaggerating, but you know, tanks don't usually just have the one fish. Otherwise, he or she would become quite bored, and then subsequently forget their boredom, and then become excited again, and then bored and excited every 3 seconds. Is it true about goldfish? 3 seconds.
I don't think it is it?
I might be making that up. Can't remember.
I don't know if it was
Either
true.
way, that's the only UK entry on this list that beats the United States of America.
Okay.
Don't believe me? Let's do
Fish.
the maths. So in the United States, there are 328 million people spread across 128 million households. Once again, that number is bested by the number of pet fish that live in the United States, but not quite to the extent that we see in the UK. In fact, there is one fish for every 0.8 households.
Wow.
And I've just
Okay.
realised that sounds like one fish
quite
taking
close.
up 4/5 of a house. That's not what these averages mean. There's a lot of fish, is what I'm saying. And now, from the sea to the land, let's take a look at all of our next entries, each of which are more prominent. What are you doing up here? You get
Perfect
down.
timing.
Each of which are more prominent in North America. Nay, the United States. I said nay.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon Tara has put the cat there?
Tara.
Tara isn't, I apologise. Lawrence calls her Tara accidentally. Thrown the cat on just to get the video, or is it a coincidence? Oh, what do you reckon?
I don't know.
'Cause-
I know she watches sometimes when he records.
Yeah, but like, how often is the cat in the video?
Never.
And it's a pet video. It seems a bit of a
It's
coincidence
a little
to
bit
me.
they there, Lauren.
Nay on purpose there, you'll see.
Horses, okay.
What? I can't see my stats. You're in the way. I'm going to have to wing this now, which will be appropriate when we get to birds, but not yet. All right, can I go on? We're supposed to be talking about horses. Yeah, we'll get to you at the end.
We'll get
It's
you
always
later.
about him, always. Oh, look, he's got a tale to tell. Okay, I'll just go on. So horses have tails. That's a tie-in, I suppose. So horses are surprisingly common in the United States. I say surprisingly, but I think when I think of horses, I just think of Jane Austen novels. And the old times, Henry
A lot of
VIII
answers
and
in
all
the
of that.
US.
So I always just think that, you know, we are the country of the horse. Not so. Apparently the United States has a lot of them. I was kind of surprised by these numbers. So the United States, you have one horse, or pony, I should say, because it falls into the sort of
Okay.
equine family of horses. You have one of those for every 16.8 households.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like a lot to me.
is a lot.
But these are the
Wow.
numbers prepared by my graphics team, a team that consists of my cat. It can't be right. What is this? The Wild West? That sounds
Horses
like a lot
everywhere.
of horses. But I suppose when you think about it, that people that keep horses keep multiple horses, I
Yeah.
assume. And I suppose also, this was pointed out to me earlier on by the wife, not the cat. He doesn't speak. Is that the United States has a lot of land, so therefore it has a lot of places for horses to roam free.
wild horses, yeah.
I
Wild
wouldn't keep
horses,
one in
yeah.
here because it would
Ranches.
take up 4/5 of my house. But in Jane Austen land in the United Kingdom, horses not quite so popular. I certainly didn't grow up with a horse. I didn't
Nope.
know anybody that did. I did actually. I dated somebody who did, and that it ended very quickly. So in the United Kingdom, there's
I think
one horse.
having a horse is deemed as you being rich over here, isn't it? If you have a horse, it's like,
If you've got a horse on your own property, definitely.
I don't know. I feel
But-
like it's a very private school thing to have a horse.
I don't know. It's a tough one because I know people who had horses at the stables but didn't have
I don't know.
much. But they knew the stable owner, so they didn't have to pay much for the
I guess
stuff.
if you get it cheap, because I think like vet bills and things, and keeping a horse,
Yeah,
like,
but also
it costs a lot of
it's-
money to keep them in a stable, doesn't
it
it?
is a very posh thing to do. I know I completely get the
If
stereotype.
you go horse riding, that sounds
Um,
very
Very posh.
I know children that have gone horse riding and they come from very well.
Yeah, it's
I don't
definitely-
know. I don't know a person on, I don't know, benefits that has a horse.
It's more rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying quite benefit.
Maybe in Jersey it's more.
In Jersey, it obviously
it's
costs
probably
more as well.
rich, yeah.
Uh,
Whereas I
it's
think England have probably got more places for stables.
more access, but still
So they're
not
probably a bit
often.
cheaper.
Yeah, it's not often at all. Like, yeah. It's just, yeah, I think that makes sense. 138 households, like, it's rare, but then you will see them, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Or pony for every 138 households. That does sound more expected to me. And I did encounter horses in my youth, I should remember. At my aunt's farm, I was almost kicked by one at one point, and that's put
My
me off
sister was bit
riding
well.
one
Really?
ever since. And also I'm scared of heights. They're tall buggers, aren't they? Something that isn't tall and doesn't always have 4 legs is our next entry.
Always have 4 legs.
See you in a second. Reptiles.
The first time I saw a 4-legged reptile was in Orlando, but the problem was I was 8 years old and I thought it was a toy. And to this day, I'd love to cohabit with one, say a lizard, but I think my cat would eat its head off, and for the same reason. And this one isn't surprising, because it's not just Florida where you might see reptiles just roaming the streets with your own eyes. To be clear, I'm not suggesting they steal your eyes. He's back. I mean, you might see an iguana or a snake. Speaking of, can you get yours out of the way, please? And so the United States, just in the wild, seems to be more replete with reptiles.
Oh,
But the same
100%.
is true of households by quite some distance. If you were doing the mathematics earlier on, you'll have noticed that there are about 5 times as many households in the United States as there are in the UK. But there are about 10 times as many... He's back again.
Wow,
He
that's a
won't
lot.
stop,
It's a
so
big-
I'm just going
big
to keep
jump.
going. There are about 10 times as many pet reptiles. His arse is in my face. It's so off-putting. Anyway, so in American households, there's 1 reptile for every 13.6
That's a
households.
lot of reptiles.
That sounds high. I just don't remember encountering any reptiles in any of the houses that I visited in the US in my time living here. Are people just hiding them? Is that
I've only
what
ever seen
happens?
one
Do they think
reptile
I'm
in a
gonna
house
be
in the
allergic
UK?
because
That's
I'm
it.
from
you?
England?
Yeah.
In the UK, this is different. It's 1 reptile for every
still quite high.
30.66 households. That's quite specific. That also sounds high. I don't
Yeah.
remember encountering reptiles when I lived in the UK. Actually, no, my next door neighbour once had terrapins. He's biting me. He's biting my hand. Terrapins must be reptiles, right? It's hard to research these things as they come to you on the fly. No, on the fly is a saying. We're not doing birds just yet. Don't worry, you'll still be interested in our next entry.
Is
I
he scared of his own
promise.
cat?
Yeah, Lawrence
So
gets
our next
bullied by his own
entry
cat.
is this.
Look, balls.
Fluff
Cats.
balls. I use that word on purpose to describe what are actually small animals, but small animals wouldn't fit in the graphic, so I just made up a term, and now I think it sounds rude. But from what I can gather, the category of small animals or fluff balls are things like gerbils or rabbits
Oh,
or
okay.
mice.
Hamsters.
Those little animals that can get sucked up by a vacuum cleaner. I've never tried that on rabbits.
Oh, you
or
did-
any of them.
Oh,
In
it's
the
like, what
UK,
about the
there's
rest?
apparently 1 small animal or fluff ball. I want that trademarked, by the way, for every 17.25 households. Now, again, that might sound like quite a lot, but it's got nothing on the United States.
Okay.
You love your little furry animals here, and that's not a euphemism. In the United States, there is 1 small fluff ball for
Wow,
every
that's a lot of
9.4
fluff balls.
households. Now, again, kind of like the reptiles, I don't tend to see these very often when I go to houses. Is it just where I live, or are they just being hidden for experiments? Do they smell my cat? I certainly have today. One thing I know for sure is that he would absolutely devour your small rodent, and the same is true of our next entry.
He's going in. Birds, okay.
Here's a personal story. My grandma used to have a couple of birds, and they do this thing where they mimic her voice right down to all of the swear words. And sure
Parrot.
enough, my grandma isn't alone. The UK has 1 bird for every 135
I'm not a bird
people.
person.
That's 1 bird for
I'm not
every
either.
55.2 households. But that ain't got nothing on America. The
He's like,
land of
'cause
the
like-
ball.
I could record instead of pause accidentally. I only know parrots as like kind of a bird pet over here, I guess. And they're a lot of work. They screech,
I
don't
don't.
they?
Yeah.
They like proper screech.
I don't like birds.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you've got any birds, what type of birds, and how
It
many.
gives me a headache when I go to the garden centre.
Yeah, I just feel like parrots do screech when we really want them. That could get really annoying. Imagine if it's
Yeah.
middle of the night and it just starts screeching.
Oh.
Just like Archie. I'm joking. I'm joking. You done.
Clear, right? Nonetheless, bird cohabitation in the United States is surprisingly widespread. There's a bird population, pet bird population here of 20.3 million birds. That's
Wow.
1 bird for every
That's a lot of
6.3
birds.
households. Bear in mind that this data could be skewed by some households having multiple birds.
Yeah.
One of several things that birds have in common with toilet paper. Then again, PetSmart does have a lot of birds, so there's clearly a demand. You don't see many horses there. But you do see plenty of other 4-legged animals, including our final 2 entries.
Dogs and cats. Okay, yeah. Dogs
I
and cats.
absolutely love dogs, and if I'm being honest, I love them more than cats.
Oh, he's answered it. There we go.
Yeah, but does he love his dog?
Oh,
more
and
than
now he's
his
got a
cat?
dog. This is aged badly.
Not around
Now
at
he's
the
got a
minute.
dog.
They're just amazing. Like when they're chasing their own tail. That's how I feel when I'm trying to record with a cat on the table. And the way chocolate Labradors wrestle you to the ground and lick your face off, it was adorable because she didn't know any better. Dogs are simply the greatest thing probably ever, if I'm honest. And both the UK and America agree. In the UK, there are 9 million pet dogs. That's one dog for every 7.5 people, or one dog for every 3
That makes
households.
sense.
But the
A
United
lot of
States
dogs.
has that beaten. And
Wow.
that's because every family that has at least 2 children also has 70 dogs. And so in
70.
the United States, you have one dog for every 3.6 people, one dog for every
Wow. Nearly every
1.42
house.
households.
Yeah.
They are a huge part of the family makeup here, and they come in various sizes too. So you'll have the Labrador, but you'll also have the tiny poodle that people walk down the trendy areas of Chicago. And this happens in droves. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the United Kingdom. You will see it, of course you will. Dog parks specifically set up in both countries for these very animals. However, it's not so easy to take our final entry for a walk, as evidenced by his antics today. Yes, cats, and much
He looks
like dogs,
petrified.
there are more American household cats than there are British people. They're
Wow.
everywhere, and in both countries you will see them cohabiting with dogs. I use the term cohabiting loosely. They hide out of the way,
Yeah.
or just
From your
attack
mum,
the
do you know that?
out of the dog. I don't know who to feel sorry for most, but I do know since moving to the United States, I've mostly lived with cats. And, I joke about how this one's a little menace, but, he is. There isn't one thing he can't get into trouble for, and that
Kafka, there we
includes
go.
murder. In fact, despite all of his interference, he's been moderately well behaved for him, so I have to give him props for that. And he, of course, is not alone in being a domesticated cat in this country. Again, I use the term domesticated loosely. Because in the United States of America, there is one cat for every 1.3 households. That's
high.
nearly
That is
one
high.
for every house. And what that means is that there's an estimated 94 million cats roaming. They're not
94
roaming
mil.
the streets. That's what they do in England. We have a lot of outdoor cats in England, which might explain the lower numbers. Because
Yeah,
in the
makes
United
sense.
Kingdom, we have 7.5, and it wasn't curiosity that killed the cat. It was a Ford Escort. Cats are all the rage in
That
the
is a
United
problem, to be
States,
fair.
even more so than dogs, though you wouldn't believe it seeing the amount of dogs being walked on the streets. It's just that cats don't take well to being put on a leash. I've tried, believe me. He actually chewed through the leash and ran back in the house and hid in a cupboard. That's it for this
Oh,
episode.
that was good. Enjoy that.
Wow.
Well, yeah, we have learned a lot about launching his cat today. It's been an interesting one, hasn't it?
He has been interesting.
Smash that button if you enjoy, guys. Smash the subscribe button as well. You absolute legends, and what should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you legends in the next one. Peace.